Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Aaron, and we are back to review The Last of Us, Season 2, Part 2, Episode 1, Future Days. And before we get into that, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this, you guessed it, wherever you get your podcasts. And go ahead and check out our Patreon page. We just uploaded our Severance Season 2 review with Cam. That was fun. Also got into some NBA talk about why Rajon Rondo is a better player than James Harden, even though it doesn't make sense. And we also just uploaded our Castle of Cagliostro review. And follow us on social medias at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey. Sorry, I'm totally forgetting who we are today. I'm not in soup mode. I haven't shifted yet. So actually, I'm going to throw it to you, Aaron. The Last of Us Season 2. I always like to put you on front when it comes to The Last of Us content, so you're like the human meat shield.
Well, I appreciate that. Any way I can help. Human meat shield. I'll put that on my LinkedIn profile. I thought it was a fine episode. A solid setup for the rest of the season. It's good to spend some time in Jackson, Wyoming. You know, I do like the little town setup they have there. But I was wondering, my biggest thing going into the season, obviously having played the game, is in what episode are we going to get certain events, and how are they going to set it up? Are they going to expand on some things? We already know that it's going to be 3 seasons, the second game, which makes sense because the game is much longer than The Last of Us Part 1, so to break it up into 2 seasons. But I think it was just a solid setup, reintroduction to this world and where our characters are at this moment. I don't think I was expecting much going into the premiere. I think it had a little of everything, some character moments to let us know where they are after this little time skip we had. And I thought the introduction of I don't even know if they have a specific name, but the clickers
the stalkers.
The strategize. Yeah. That use strategy.
Yeah. She was like, they're smart, advanced on Duolingo, already conversational in Spanish. I don't know how that's useful.
Freaking out on my Duolingo because I'm saying it right and it keeps saying I'm not saying it right. I fucking hate, and it's that snarky, the mean lady.
Oh yeah, what's her goddamn name?
I fucking hate her, man. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that sequence was pretty good. Yeah, just a nice little reintroduction into
Lily. That's her fucking name.
Fucking Lily. I hate her.
Yeah.
And now I'm just hot about that.
I don't need your fucking help.
I don't even want to talk about The Last of Us.
I mean, bro, you really got to enunciate when you're learning Portuguese.
What's that, Portuguese?
Yeah, isn't that the language you're doing?
No, I'm doing Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, right back at you.
Good at saying yogata. Be the first English language sub voiceover actor. I'm done. You can continue.
Okay. But I think the thing that got me most riled up is I hate when angsty teens are disrespectful to their parents who are just trying their best. Nothing drives me crazy more. We all were in, it all happened to us, and we know what it's like in those moments. But seeing it now as you're older, you're just like, just love him, please. He's trying his best.
He's being a little annoying.
No, he just wants to make sure everything's okay.
That was an incredible piece of acting. And I have some thoughts about the casting of Pedro Pascal, but you can't deny that he is a great actor. So when he's having that therapy session and Gail asks him, "What are you keeping from me?" And it is so difficult to explain. And I do think if he was honest in that moment, she could understand, but still be a bit horrified by what he did. But when he gets up and says, "I saved her," and that one tear comes rolling down of his eye, I thought, bravo, man. You are excellent. I hope you never do anything other than Marvel or HBO shows for the rest of your life. But yeah, overall, I actually thought it was an entertaining episode. And I had some mixed feelings on season 1. I think overall it was fine. And I think in this episode, the only thing that really didn't work for me is a couple of moments with I thought Ellie and Dina's chemistry was fantastic. The actress that they brought in to play Dina, of course, I can't fucking find it. I just had it. Isabella Merced. Yeah, she was great. Incredible chemistry, really fun and cute. The way that they could, even when they were on their little stealth missions against the clickers, they could communicate without even speaking. That the love that they have for each other is so strong in that regard. When they were like, "Oh, Dina and Ellie, you need to be more responsible because everybody looks up to you." Like, they look like tiny little children, which is I'm fine with. But they're kids. Why are we acting like they're war veterans? Yeah, we've been killing clickers for decades now.
Dude, I'm such a fucking loser now. Like thinking about it, like being mad at Ellie and being mean to Joel, and them not respecting authority. What happened to me, man?
I know.
It's the whole time, like, just listen to your superiors.
You're the fucking worst, bro.
I'm fucking washed.
You're turning into the principal from the Breakfast Club.
I'm becoming the machine. Wow. Yeah, the whole time when they're like, that's not part of the protocol. You're not following the rules.
Yeah, dude, I was frustrated by the first season that they didn't integrate more of the elements from the game, and I thought they did a great job. Like when she's got the radio blasting, fully functioning radio, that's pretty convenient, and she's working at the craft table, straight from the games. And these moments, you don't need to keep doing them like you have in the game, but just her pointing out the bottle and using that to distract the clicker. You run up on him, and then you do the shiv move, and the introduction to the stalkers. I thought that sequence was excellent. At first, I thought maybe they were changing it, because when he first appeared, he looked tiny, the stalker, or it. It looked like it was a lady. I thought maybe they were doing like a baby zombie. That would have really freaked me out. But I thought that was just a great and fun, exciting way to introduce the new zombies. And I hope it's not something that throughout the season we don't get any more of, because they did that. That was one of my big problems in season 1. They would have these great moments with the zombies, and then you would go 3 or 4 episodes with what it felt like didn't even see any of them. So it's like the threat was sort of lost. But I think that there's an idea to where you're talking about what they're going to expand on. Because the Last of Us video game story hasn't finished, I think they can get into some really fun and interesting places with the zombie, with the threat, how it's growing, how it's evolving, and how they plan to stop it. So I think that that's definitely an avenue that I'm excited for them to explore and expand upon when it comes to what they showed us in the games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, seeing her pick up the bottle, like, I love that.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would have thrown a brick and then a Molotov cocktail, but
you take out the flamethrower.
Yeah, but yeah,
waste all the fucking things you have on one zombie.
I waste all my good shit right away. I don't got time to be fucking going in stealth mode and hitting triangle.
That would have been funny if they did listen mode. Yeah. See the outline of the zombie. No, people who haven't played the games don't understand the willpower of saving your supplies in this game, because they are truly scarce. There is absolutely nothing. It is not Metal Gear Solid where you could just shoot your way out of every situation if you don't want to be stealth. You really need to figure that shit out. And that was fun.
Yeah, I always pick the difficulty where resources are scarce. And like immediately I'm like, this sucks. I wish I had bullets.
I'm just going to do a mod where I'm Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Good luck, zombies. But the way that they're taking their time, they're building this suspense and the tension of the moment, and then having that confrontation. And then, Ellie being bit, and we see that she, even with 2 bites, or she's been bit several times now, so still immune. But that sequence was fun. Yeah, I just think that Pedro Pascal, like I said, very good actor, but there's just something to casting a guy like Gabriel Luna as Tommy. There's no doubt in my mind that when I'm watching him, he's Tommy. When I'm watching Joel, I'm very aware that it's Pedro Pascal acting. And that's not to say he's bad, because I think he is acting well. But it's like a different character from the Joel that I knew from the games, which is an annoying criticism, I know. But for whatever reason, it doesn't quite work for me, and it sometimes takes me out of it. And I think some of that has to do with the writing. Like the therapy scene, he brought it home at the end. But God, I was bored to tears with that conversation. Could not care less.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought you were a big Pedro man.
No, I love Pedro. I love him, but I do think it might be more of the writing. And I think Druckmann is taking some of the criticisms of the game too personally, and he's trying to retcon the character in ways that are unnecessary. And in season 1, they did it where they really took a lot of the physicality from the story out of the story. And I think they're doing that in season 2 already with, once again, an actress that I love, Caitlin Dever as Abby, but because of the backlash that character got in the second game, they've completely changed her. The physicality of Abby was a huge part of that character. That is something that they explored. That is one of the themes of the game, is the way that people can become monsters, the way that the body can be used as a weapon, and how soul-destroying that can be for a person. And that to me feels like it's totally missing from this show. Except for Ellie, because her first scene, she's beating the shit out of somebody who's like 6'5". When I first saw it, I was like, this is silly. But because these shows to me are like cartoons, after a while, I just simply don't care. Like if Ellie's on a mission and she's able to overpower a clicker, I'm not going to be like, measuring height, weight, and reach. I just don't care. But initially, it did take me out of it. It's like the one character they're giving that raw physicality to is the girl who's 5 foot. It's just strange to me.
Well, I think the biggest thing with the introduction of Abby and that whole crew, their motivations, I think that was something, and I know a show and a game are completely different and how you set things up. We'll talk about it more down the line once we get to know this character. I think that's a direct response to maybe some of the criticisms of the game.
Definitely.
And I don't like it at all.
No.
I don't think I'll just leave it at that.
It's something where they don't give us much, but I think it's the wrong approach because they're really, and this is the worst thing an artist can do, don't be worried about what the audience is going to think about your story or about your characters. Be confident in the story you already told, which was awesome. I don't care that people didn't like The Last of Us Part 2 because most people hated it before it even came out. Like with all of the dumb backlash we get these days of people judging something before they see it, it had nothing to do with the story because nobody fucking knew the story. And the way it played out was brilliant, especially for the character of Abby, who you could argue, as great as Ellie is in that second game, is the best character of the franchise. And once again, Dever, I'm going to give her a shot. I think that, in the scenes that we got, she's bringing that raw emotion to the character. But we're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Well, I think too, when you talk about the reception of The Last of Us Part 2, it wasn't like everybody hated it, right? Some people didn't like it and some people really liked it. It's not like I would understand if there was an aspect of the game that was universally criticized and wanting to make it better for the show, but let's just make it simple. 50-50, 50% of people really hated it, 50% of people really liked it. So like, I don't think you have to meet in the middle where now everybody's just going to be like, okay, I guess that's whatever. I'd rather have strong reactions either way than just make a change that's going to have the two extremes meet in the middle,
Definitely.
That's kind of just boring.
Yeah, you're not going to win anybody over with that, except new fans.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I guess how many people watching the show played the game? Nobody's going to, if you're just watching the show and you have no idea of anything that happens within the games, it's probably going to be, you're going to have a different perspective and it's probably going to work for you. And when you hear people complain that it's different from the games, you're like, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. That seems totally very inconsequential. So
yeah, my last point on Abby is that it should have been Caddy O'Brien. But I think that's also difficult where I don't mind that they kept Bella Ramsey, but going 5 years, there is a physical change in the game that just isn't there in the show. But I'm not going to get too hung up on that because I thought Bella Ramsey was the best part of season 1, and the people who criticize her are just absolutely ridiculous, weirdos, freaks. She's a great actress and a great Ellie, who is a character that I loved in both games, and I really enjoyed her in season 1, and I really liked her in this episode too. When she needs to be funny, she's funny. When she needs to be charming, she can charm you. When she needs to be a stubborn kid, she could be that as well. She really nails all the different sides of who Ellie is.
Well, that's a funny thing to try to explain too to people who just watch the show. It's like, oh, why is everybody hating Ellie? Oh, well, because Bella Ramsey doesn't look like the video game character. Well, who's the video game character? Young white girl.
Yeah, the most generic looking design maybe ever, which was intentional. People don't realize that with Joel and Ellie. They were intentionally designed to be generic, that anybody could play these characters. Anybody could be these people. Nobody understands anything these days.
It's only her. She's the only actor who doesn't look like the video game character.
But see, I thought, like, for as good as some of the scenes in season 1 were between Joel and Ellie, I thought that scene between Ellie and Tommy was maybe the best chemistry she's had with the Miller brothers. Yeah, I think Gabriel Luna is maybe he should have been Joel, because I think that those two together, they just work better as a pair for me. What's so promising about this episode is that a lot of the season is going to be focused on Ellie and Dina, and they have great chemistry. So you have something real to work with there. That was an important character to nail, and I think she was really great in the video game voiced by Shannon Woodward and Isabella Merced. This feels almost like a star-making performance.
Yeah, the chemistry is definitely there, and like you said, that's going to be an important aspect of the season. So I think it was good to spend a lot of time with them in this episode, kind of to establish that relationship. And what we see is a romantic relationship. So it is funny people being like, there's a fucking zombie apocalypse and he still got time to be homophobic. Joel fucking trucked him though.
Hit him with the hit stick.
That isn't funny. That is a funny change. Like in the game, it's a light push. In the show, it's just like, yeah, just fucking hit up on the fucking right analog.
Just a slow motion 360 kick to the fucking jaw.
They should have done it like fucking Blitz the League, where you see the fucking bones crack.
Yeah.
But I like the insight into the town as well, how it works. Little mentions of limited resources and the debate between letting people in versus trying to protect who's already in the encampment.
God, I know whose side Elon would be on. Joel's making some good points. I don't do a good Elon.
Their little like council they have there.
Oh yeah, I love a council. God, there's nothing I would love more than to be called before a council to give testimony. Actually, these days, no, I take that back. I mean, like a fantasy show or something, Like I'm an important Jedi.
The Ministry of Magic calls you in.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no, they're kind of brutal too.
Oh, wait, yeah, no, fuck. No. Yeah, but all those little details building out the world were really great. And it's something that we didn't get as much of in the game. That's something you build upon. How does this society function? How does this work? Is there going to be a day of reckoning for this town because of their scarce resources? I'll tell you what, if they need more housing, maybe Joel should put some people up. They're complaining about not having enough room. This motherfucker's got a house. Got a house with a mailbox. And nobody's in there. It's like people
Wi-Fi.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to move the flat screen.
People are begging to come in. He's watching the game.
No, it's literally like fucking what Bill had going on. Joel's got a whole setup where he watches people snipe the zombies with all his buddies. But I even like the way that we saw Joel tinkering with the breakers, that he's just not the man who escorted Ellie and kills people. He's got some skills and he's helping out. He's become an important part of this community that did take him in. And I also appreciated the conversation over refugees because it's very relevant. And I'm glad that they weren't afraid to go in that direction and be so poignant with that commentary. Because she told him, you're like, hey, bitch, you were a refugee too. Joel's like, I came in legally. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I did it the right way. Bro literally committed a fucking massive war crime 2 hours before he got there. What a funny guy.
Justified. I will always stand by Joel and his decision.
Yeah, and then, playing with the tension there where Ellie was really lying to herself in that first scene 5 years prior.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like, I feel like obviously we know why she's upset because it's not just your typical teenage angst. I mean, there's a clear divide between those two characters. And like you said with Ellie, kind of not knowing but knowing, and Joel just not being honest with her,
Yeah, and I imagine for a lot of people seeing that, you get back into this world, they made it, they survived, and in the first episode, there's so much tension between them. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to see my good buddies Joel and Ellie. They're going to be living a great life in Jackson, Wyoming. And a bit of a left turn for a lot of people. Yeah, but the highlights of the episode, because it kind of felt short. And I think that's why, they really take their time with some of these scenes where they're trying to develop characters. Sometimes they're effective, sometimes they're not. I feel like sometimes these HBO writers think that characters talking is just enough rather than characters talking while the story is simultaneously progressing. That's actually something that Severance really nails. Yeah, Ellie and Dina were the standouts. I like the zombie stuff. I'm excited to see how they continue to build out this world. And for me, it was a good episode. I was entertained.
Yeah, and obviously, I say obviously a lot. I gotta stop that.
Yeah, it's because I say it. It's rubbing off on you.
Well, obviously, it's like condescending. Well, obviously, I know
obviously.
That. Well, you didn't pick that up. Well, they show the pipeline. Some of the fungi has made its way inside of their encampment. So
yeah, and the bear ripped that bear to pieces.
Why are you talking with a southern accent?
Just felt appropriate. Your exact reaction to me doing that is how I feel watching Pedro Pascal in this role.
I like a southern accent. He does it in Kingsman Lasso.
So underused in Kingsman. God, when I saw that first trailer and he whipped that lasso, I thought movie of the fucking year. And it was dog shit.
That movie did fucking suck, huh?
Yeah, we also saw some characters from the game like Owen and some of Abby's crew. I guess, yeah, we really just have Abby's name at that point. Or I guess, yeah, I don't know. Did they name them? I have to go back and watch.
Well, and the therapist's husband, that's a character that's mentioned, but we never see him, right?
Yeah, I don't know if was he in the first season?
I don't know. No, well, she says Joe killed him. Joe. They say Joe killed him, and we kind of they just leave it at that. So
yeah, and she's a new character. She's not even in the games.
I feel like therapists should be allowed to be drunk on the job.
I didn't hate that, especially in the apocalypse.
I feel like it would help. Say the things like you always hold back and try to spin zone things, but sometimes you just need the drunk person to tell you the truth, tell you how it really is.
It was funny that he paid for the therapy with shitty weed. He's like, it's winter. What do you want me to do? There's one sequence in the game with weed that I'm really excited for. That was actually one of my favorite parts of the second game.
Her therapy is as good as the weed is. You're bringing some fucking Reggies.
Right.
I'm getting shit. I'm getting fucking drunk.
No, you're not going to learn shit about yourself. But if you bring in some fire, like that Blue Dreams, the Crypto Chronic 3000, you're going to walk out in tears, bro. Like what's his face from Ted Lasso? Football is life. Oh, the guitar sequence did kind of destroy me. Him saying, oh, I'll fix the strings and just walking out, and her realizing, fuck, like he's trying. Maybe I shouldn't have been so much of a dick to him. Because you know that when you're a dick to your parents and then they kind of walk off sad and you feel bad about it.
Are guitar strings like abundant?
They got a lot of shit at this fucking place, bro. They got cassettes and radios and projectors. They got tonal. How do you get a tonal? This video is not sponsored, by the way. I'm just shocked. Like an unopened N64. Like nobody has that, bro. You know how valuable that would be?
They're valuable now, even in the apocalypse.
Yeah. These motherfuckers are living good. No, I would have killed all those doctors too. Very selfish. Very selfish people, human beings. But please, God, don't. If we don't see a stalker until like episode 6, I'm going to be so fucking mad.
What was that?
If we don't see like a stalker for another like 4 or 5 episodes, I'm going to be pissed. And they better not cheap out on some of these fucking big moments this season. And I know, I don't think it's going to be the whole game. It looks like it's going to be half of the game. But still, the infected tendrils entering the facility makes me believe that we're going to get something that we didn't quite see that could be massive. You know, similar to that big moment, the big rush of zombies we got in season 1.
I just want to see some big boys this season.
Dude, I really need to see bloaters.
I need some
bloaters.
Big old boys just causing mayhem.
Big chunguses.
Thick as all hell.
Hear me out.
Yeah. I want Joel to see one of these boys and be like, hold up.
Oh, that reminds me of Texas.
Wait a minute.
They're feeding these zombies churros down here, huh?
You catching this, Tommy?
Tommy's like, why are you speaking in a southern accent, Pedro Pascal?
Just foaming at the mouth at a big-ass bloater.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for our review of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1, Future Days. We'll be back next week, hopefully with an episode review earlier in the week. This week we were a bit busy, but we should be better.
One of the stalkers hitting Joel with a Bugs Bunny with a wig on. Luring him in.
Bro, they said they're smart.
Yeah.
Goes back to the council. Not only are they smart, they're hot.
Over here, cowboy. Tongue falling out of his mouth like a fruit roll-up.
Ellie's got to push it back into his mouth.